but be clinical.
Staying with St Helens win, Paul Sculthorpe?
I am.
Phil Clark, you went for Leeds before the game?
I'll stick with the Rhinos.
That's it. Stick with your decisions, gentlemen. Let's go back to our commentary team. Standing by are John Wilkin, Barry McDermott and Bill Arthur.
Leeds facing the prospects of a 0 from 3 start for the second successive year, unless they can turn this around in the second half, and they are not that far behind. 18-12 as we resume, and enough in that first half for Leeds to feel pretty confident as they come out.
Yeah, without doubt. Look, loads to be encouraged about. I think the ball movements work for them. I think they've clung in and stuck in with St Helens at times, but you just can't give St Helens field position and opportunities. It's maybe the only thing that they got wrong in that first half for St Helens. It'll be defensively be sharper and then continue with the things that are working, and that's power of ball carries and just taking field position and possession away from Leeds.
Bill, something that Clarkey said at half-time about Leeds being aggressive in defence. The only bloke that's been aggressive is Jared O'Connor. He's up quick every single time. If a few players around him match his intensity, they'll cut Saints off at source.
Go, 5. Jake!
The kick from Dodd is a high one. Alfort's thought about it. Myler made it his own, and Myler claimed that ball. Now then, Leeds with work to do to get out of their own defensive zone. Down on the sidelines, I'm delighted to say we're joined by Saints assistant coach Laurent Fressineau. And Laurent, a bit to improve on for Saints in this second half. It wasn't perfect in the first, was it?
No, definitely it wasn't perfect. I think we didn't control the ruck pretty well, which allowed them to do some offload, to shift the ball. So we talked about it at our time, and hopefully we'll be better in the second half.
What other areas of improvement do you think?
I think it's about controlling the game, come back set for set, and after controlling the ruck, play our game. That's where we're strong, that's where we're good at. So just simple games, no errors, like the first set, like we did with the quality kick of Lewis Dodd and quality chase.
Thanks, Laurent.
Thank you.
So room for improvement for the Saints.
Yeah, and he speaks about ruck control, something Saints that they pride themselves on controlling games by dominating teams with how they carry the ball. On the flip side of that, Phil Clark mentioned it as well, is just slowing teams down in the contact area. So they need more of that, without doubt, because Leeds, when they've played, Bill, have looked hot and they've looked like they've challenged St Helens. You look at the stats, Ash Hamley, 121 metres, he's really troubled Conrad Hurrell down this right edge.
James Bell, Johnny Lomax onto Curtis Sirinen. Blake Austin just managing to stop his progress. Now then, here is Lomax. Lomax, little kick, and oh, beautifully picked up by Aidan Caesar. But then the follow-up flattens Caesar. It was Bell arriving. Talk about a ding-dong from Bell.
Well, he thinks he's done everything right, doesn't he, Aidan Caesar? Scoops down, picks that ball up. He thinks, well, that's it, I'm done, and then whack!
James, get square, James!
Here's Darrell Alforts, hoping to atone for that horrible error in the first half, that mix-up between him and Blake Austin that led to one of the Saints' tries.
Been very impressed with him, Nelly McDonald. I think I've heard a few people compare him to Joel Moon. That running style, running technique, very skillful.
He's had a lot of offensive misses, McDonald, when he's carried the ball. Took easy meters and then also just created some doubt in the St Helens defensive line. A solid first half from both centres in the Leeds side.
Bennison is under that kick from Caesar. News from Wakefield is that Huddersfield have broken the deadlock. They lead by 8 points to 0, and a real contest at Hull KR, 19-18. The Robins clinging on there. Here is Makinson. Over the halfway line come Saints. Lussick. Wingfield.
I love this young guy, Jake Wingfield. Look, he organises shape around him, and look what it does. The play's quick. He threatens to pass, he doesn't. And then look now, Saints are just on the front foot.
And they're making yards, aren't they, Saints? Sirinen able to advance. Wingfield on it goes to Dodd. Dodd to Welsby. Welsby drifts a little kick in. Now then, was Sione Metalcia held up? Percival bangs the ball down. Jack Smith, I reckon, is going to have something to sort out here.
Well, look, we've got it, Louis. Don't worry.
Louis McCarthy,
Louis, don't worry.
Carsbrook, just making sure Chris
Time
Kendall
off.
knows that he needs to go to the
Jack,
video ref.
It is tackle 5. Mate, I have a penalty try.
No.
It's all the rage.
Just make sure,
my
before
word.
you judge on that Percival doesn't ground the ball after as well, please, mate. But I have got a penalty try if Percival doesn't score.
Right, it's tackle 5 and we've got a penalty try on field. Comes from a kick, please. Can we go from that first? Right, chase to the left is all onside. Right, does foul play occur? Let's just go on this angle, please. On this angle, that's fine. Yes, foul play does occur from McDonald. We'll now need the... Yeah. Go into that first. We'll go on this angle again, please. See if he grounds it the first time. Have you got anything from the other side, please, near the touch judge? Percival collects that clean. And go back on that angle, please, and very slow. Pause the ball there. Yes, thank you. I made my decision.
So what's it to be? Penalty try? Or has Mark Percival managed to contort himself and get that ball down? The try is awarded. And Mark Percival, is he saying, I'm not sure I got that down, or how I got that down, but he did.
Yeah, and it was McDonald, wasn't it? He had a big effort to pull Sione Matautia back. Question of a penalty try. It was just ball movement through Wingfield to Wellesby. Soft touch with his left boot.
He's made the most of that,
Of course he has. He has indeed. McDonald with a big effort.
He flings himself on the floor.
He does, but regardless there's contact, he makes the most of it. I agree with you, Baz. What about this from Mark Percival, though? Huge tackle from McDonald. Big effort from McDonald. Percival's bent in two. Just manages to graze the ball down. There's a question mark. It wasn't easy to see whether it was down. It's so close, it's so close. It's nearly magic from McDonald.
He has a lot of skills, doesn't he? And gains a lot of plaudits from his teammates. But one thing we don't talk about with Mark Percival is his toughness.
He's tough. He carries the ball hard. It's an exquisite finish from Mark Percival. Subtle kick from Jack Wellesby, top stuff from St Helens.
Tommy Makinson 3 from 3 so far tonight. And 6 minutes into the second half. Makinson nails it. And Saints put a bit of daylight between themselves and the Leeds Rhinos. And Mark Percival, what a courageous performer he has been throughout his career.
Does remarkably well to get that ball down, doesn't it? Under all kinds of pressure from Leeds, but I'm so glad that the incident involving Matautia had no part to play really in that try. I don't like to see that in the game. Yes, there was contact, but not enough to see that kind of collision.
Yeah, and also, look, that try came off the back of 6 minutes where St Helens have just dominated the process that most rugby league games take. They've really front-loaded their energy into defence. They've defended incredibly strong. They've carried the ball hard. They've won field position, and that earned them right to do a short kick like Jack Wellesby did. But for 6 minutes here, St Helens have really got into the style of game which they really enjoy.
24-12, James Roby looking on behind his coach. 24-12, the grand final scoreline from last year. Wigan are ahead 12-0 at Castleford. In one of tonight's other games, Catalan have already won convincingly against Hull FC. Here is Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook, 37 years of age now, same age as James Roby. Not quite as many appearances for LMS, 449th this one is. The kick is high, it's batted back, and it went forward, says the referee.
It's the last tackle turnover. Cheers, was.
It's a nice jump, wasn't it, from Tommy Makinson? A good kick from Johnny Lomax. Really credit Blake Austin, Ash Handley, just making it difficult for the St Helens chase as it comes forward off Tommy Makinson's hand. A good leap from him, but nice kick defence there from Leeds, really solid.
Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, we were talking about him just a moment ago. He made his Super League debut back in 2006 for Harlequins against Leeds and was on the end of a 60-0 defeat.
One of the most annoying men in the dressing room of all time. He is happy on a Monday morning. I don't know. There's not many people.
Him annoying, you miserable so-and-so?
Well, it just is. Okay, I don't want to be that happy on a Monday.
You're not with me.
You're not too happy on a Friday evening. Here is Ash Hanley. Saints feeling happier now with that scoreline. And Leeds really haven't had much of a look in so far in the second half. Cameron Smith. Cruz Leeming is on, having started on the bench this evening. The ball
last tackle
on the last is with Nene McDonald, who does well to make something out of that, but Makinson takes it comfortably. 25-18 at Hull KR now. The Robins have got their noses far enough in front, maybe, but still time to go there. Here is John Bennison.
What a weekend it would be for Hull KR. Not only would they win, but Hull FC would lose. Double bubble for the red and white half of Hull.
Mark Percival. That World Club Challenge victory against Penrith was his 200th career appearance. When you think what might have been the number of games he has missed down the years because of the injury problems he's had.
Yeah, just incredible, isn't he? In every aspect of the game, defensively solid, carries the ball so well, instinctive line runner. Not a clue how he does it, Bill. That's what I love about him. No idea how he's doing what he's doing.
Bell plays the ball on the last. Lomax, short pass for Sirinen trying to flick it out. Hanley is going to have to concede the goal line dropout. Didn't know an awful lot about that, Ash Hanley. And Conrad Hurrell still smiling.
Goal line dropout.
Suggestion it was forward from Sirinen anyway, surely. Maybe a bit lucky there, St Helens. Had a few calls here tonight that could have gone either way. But they'll love this pressure that they get to attack Leeds' line. And this is where St Helens are patient. You know, I don't sense that they've forced things in this part of the field. You sometimes feel like they should, just to get away far enough from their opposition. Usually very patient.
LMS winding up for a charge and gets a good round of applause from the home crowd for that effort. Is he in his final year, perhaps? Set restart signalled. And then the referee has penalised Leeds. Was something said?
Yeah, somebody said something out of turn.
Cruz, I spoke to Austin at half-time about coming charging at me, dissent. So that's what the penalty is, dissent. You need to speak to him, mate.
Blake Austin's been warned. He's been warned before half-time for coming charging at the referee, and that's cost him there, and that could be costly, couldn't it, Barry?
And you talked about St Helens and their ability to stay at the same level, the same pace. Well, this is just adding to that. They're going to take 2 points. They're banking the advantage. They'll hope to take the 2 points on offer, but what they've done is just check, a bit of communication, a bit of verbal, bit of physical reassurance of everybody we're doing all right. Look at that scoreboard.
And they get the ball back.
Yeah.
Take 2 points. You're 3 scores ahead. Get the ball back.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
But just game management, controlling the tempo of the game.
Leeds aren't out of this. I'm telling you, they're not out of this.
So Makinson will maintain his 100% record this evening. A night of celebration for the Saints, or has he? He's yanked that one wide.
Well, last night we saw Mark Sneed miss a kick, didn't we? And that signalled the demise of Salford. Now, how big might this be? St Helens and Tommy Makinson. Tommy Makinson in particular be hoping not so much. They'll still get the ball back from a dropout from the 20 off Blake Austin. He goes short.
Austin goes short. Now they've got to try and get the ball back, and That's gone forward. They will get the ball, will Leeds.
Well, that's not a surprise, is it? Leeds Rhinos, short kickoffs, short dropouts are the order of 2023, making it a competition.
Yeah, it's brought into
the ball's knocked on by the same player, Makinson.
It's all angles and that maths, algebra.
Yeah, misconversion, get the ball back. In a game, momentum changes. Leeds go and score here. What does that do? What does that do to the dynamic of the game?
Well, they almost got shoved off their own feet there.
That's a momentum killer.
Cruz Leeming just managing to cling onto the ball. And I think he got trodden on at the bottom of that. You just see him there, one of his own teammates, I think, ended up on top of him. Referee's called time off. You've always got
McDonald.
It's just obviously Saints with the push. Those studs.
Well, luckily,
really hurt.
Luckily for Cruz Leeming, it's not a twist. It's not going in an awkward ankle. He's just had some big clodhopper stand on him.
Yeah, just backing off, backing off. Ouch. Ouch.
He's still on his back.
It's a big foot, is that? Whose foot's that?
McDonald, I think. James McDonald.
So he's in a lot of pain, is Cruz Leeming.
Jared O'Connor, who left the field probably a couple of minutes ago, looks like he's coming back on.
There is Jared O'Connor, who started the game. And Leeming. Well, that was costly for Leeds.
Doesn't look good, does it?
Wait, race.
But they will continue in possession.
Back on tackle one. Go.
Leeming helped off the field. Here is Sam Walters now, making his first appearance of the season. Grand final sub at the end of September. McDonald.
You know, I'm looking at Walters, I'm looking at Jared O'Connor and Mark Percival, all Widnes born. There's a few others as well, isn't there? Imagine if the players born in Widnes played for the town team.
Here is one of them, Sam Walters, joined Leeds at the same time as Jared O'Connor. There is O'Connor wearing 14. Here is Cameron Smith. That's the 5th tackle. Leeds edging their way upfield. The ball with Blake Austin. They're going to run this one. And then the pass is flicked forwards, and that's an ugly end to that set. McDonald trying to keep it going.
Yeah, I think Leeds have been unstructured on the last plays. They've tried to move because the St Helens edge defenders drop back on play 4. It's an illusion of space. St Helens are fantastic at shutting it down, and that just gives St Helens the ball back.
Let's hear from Jenna about Cruz Leeming's injury.
Yeah, Bill, he just came off straight in front of me. He only lasted 5 minutes out there. I can tell you, as we saw in those pictures, he was in absolute agony. His entire body was convulsing on the sidelines here, and what I can tell you was the doctors had to pick him up and carry him into the dressing room. It does not look good for the Leeds Rhinos.
That is a blow. Leeds' only member of the Dream Team in 2021, Cruz Leeming. Here is Conrad Hurrell. He's a nightmare to deal with when he's in this sort of rampaging form. Wellesby. Here is Bell. Just inside that Leeds 20 now. Lomax, quick hands to Percival. Percival cutting infield. Lovely offload. Finds Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook. Bell. Martin gets a hold of him and stops his progress. Joey Lussick. He's planning something down the short side. Matautia. That's the turnover.
Yeah, they've been content with that all night. James Roby, Paul Wellens discussing how best to close this game out for St Helens. Well, that's not a bad way to do it. It's finish your sets there. Which means Leeds have got to go fully 100 metres to score points.
Go on. Careful.
Wigan now 20 points to 0 up against the Castleford Tigers at the Menderhose Jungle. Here is Blake Austin. Lomax, LMS and Lussick doing the tackling on the Leeds half-back. Sam Walters, 6'5" he is.
Open square with Missione. Hold, go for.
Jared O'Connor.
4.
Caesar now. Caesar gets away from the first tackle, can't get away from Lewis Dodd. Referee calls held. Caesar appealing. On the last, Austin manages to get it to Cameron Smith. Smith to Myler. Myler. Reece Martin kicks ahead. Across comes Jack Wellesby. The ball bounces. And then there's a penalty for Leeds because Myler was flattened.
It's another one of those made-up plays at the back end of sets. He gets caught with it, doesn't he, Blake Austin? And from this point here, well, that's quite clearly late on Myler.
Yeah, and I'm fine with unstructured last plays as long as somebody like Reece Martin,
as long as they look like that, yeah.
As long as Reece Martin takes control. It's just not needed from Sirinen. And in this situation where Saints are in such control, look, he's been fantastic for Saints. His World Club Challenge performance was something special. And in the effort areas, both him and Sione Matauri have just got that wrong here today.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, hang on a minute. It's another
the second
card.
one.
Not that one. That one.
That's the second one of the game, both back rowers.
It's a fine line. It is. You want to apply pressure. Your job as a back rower is to go and help your edge 3 defenders feel comfortable. And look, Sirinen, the ball's gone, hits him in the arch of the back. That's illegal. You just can't do that anymore. That's Matautia and Sirinen. Just ill-discipline. And St Helens are renowned for effort, intensity, aggression with defence. But you've got to get it right.
So for the second time, and McCarthy Scarsbrook was high on Sangare, and the French international didn't like that. LMS, meanwhile, as the little Justin Sangare furious.
It was line speed from Louis, obviously revved up by the Sirinen. Yellow card, plays set, it's a tap. As a forward, you just want to get off your line. And again, Louis just gets that wrong. He just gets that wrong.
I'll tell you what, you already mentioned that the missed kick from Tommy Makinson last night reminded you, from tonight, reminded you of last night. Well, it was a missed kick, it was an inspiring play, then a sin bin, and things start to capitulate.
Ash! Louis!
So Chris Campbell calls over both captains.
Just wait there. Yeah, it's a high tackle. Let's just think about what we're doing, mate. That's it. Right. Lads, after the high tackle, we've then got players running in. We can't have that anymore. More players are going to be sat down. It's a high tackle.
That was nearly somebody else in the sin bin, the high tackle on Justin Sangare, who is a man on edge tonight because his wife, who is back in Yorkshire, is due to give birth at any moment, and we could actually have another Alex Walmsley moment here tonight because it is that close.
It's tough to leave when your team's winning. I'm pretty sure Big Al left when his team was winning. I like that though. He's caught one off LMS. He wants the ball again, and the first person he runs at is said player.
Straight back in.
So Saints for the second time tonight back down to 12 men. And Leeds not out of this yet. If they can strike while they've got this numeric supremacy, then they might yet have hope here tonight.
Caesar has ran the ball so much tonight, Barry. He looks so threatening when he takes the line on. It's encouraging for Leeds to see him do that.
Jared O'Connor. Big Sam. Lovely ball. Cameron Smith. What a great try from Leeds. What a lovely ball from Big Sam Walters. And what a response from the Rhinos. Cameron Smith, his second try of the season in successive weeks.
Brilliant stuff from Leeds, isn't it? Players running hard onto the ball, making themselves available. Beautiful offload, isn't it, from Sam Walters, who's been impressive since he's come onto the bench. Rides the tackle from Dodd, a nice little flick to Cameron Smith, who's in support. And there's another silent crowd here, isn't there? There was a couple of boos when Leeds Rhinos had the audacity to score a try in front of that stand to our left.
How dare you?
2-2 for Cameron Smith. He only got one try all last year. Reece Martin has converted. And 24-18 the scoreline into the final quarter.
Yeah, and it's Sione Matausi. If we just slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. He comes in. He has a bite. Lewis Dodd follows him. And once that's in, it's Dodd on Walters. It's a mismatch. Great push support from Cameron Smith. Fantastic piece of play from Leeds against the St Helens team, who was short because of the yellow card.
And because he's made an impact since he's come onto the field, or back onto the field, Justin Sangare catches the attention of those blokes that want to be aggressive. They're over-aggressive. They're zoned in on getting in on the big man, but the ball goes behind him, and that's where the space is created.
It starts, Matauti aggressive, then Dodd has to come in, and then there's too many moving parts there. But when you're short a defender, you've got to come up with some big decisions and make some big tackles. St Helens just fallen short.
So Saints aren't home and dry yet. Oh, Sangare has lost that ball.
Oh, no way.
And it's been picked up by Dodds.
I'll tell you what's going through his mind here. He's thinking, I'm going to absolutely annihilate those people in front of me. Unfortunately, he hasn't got the pill.
Just catch it. You just got to catch it. Like, as much intent and anger you've got and what you want to do, just catch it.
Former Toulouse man losing possession then, and immediately allowing Saints to get on the front foot and find a response to that Leeds try. Here is James Bell. Bell, once of the New Zealand Warriors, briefly manages to offload that ball to Lomax. Lomax. Conrad Hurrell.
Move, Cam! Don't go early, Sam. Wait.
Hurrell
Wait.
on his back. Dodd on to Lomax. Lomax short ball to Sione Matautia. And now Leeds with some serious defending to do if they're to make the most of the opportunity they've got here. Lomax. Dodd, little kick through. And it's touched down, is it, by Bennis, by Makinson. Did Makinson get to that one?
Guys, tackle 4. We have a try.
Referee
Ground him, please, mate.
Kendall reckons so.
Tackle 4, we've got a try. Can we check onside and grounding, please? Got the kicker. Chase to the right is onside. Touch just called the winger onside. And something close in on grounding, please. Ball's bouncing up.
Ooh.
Can we go slow on this angle, please? Right, have we got the first angle again, please, and slow? Right, and then can we go to that angle that we just had previous, please, and I'll make my decision on that. And again, please, on this angle. Ball bounces up, touches his hand. Does he maintain possession in his hand of this ball? Right, that ball bounces up and hits his hands and then moves onto his wrist to take to ground. Thank you, I've made my decision.
It looks as though Tommy Makinson has not been able to ground that ball, just getting away from him. But what does Jack Smith reckon? A let-off for Leeds, a let-off for Justin Sangare, who will be a very, very relieved young man.
Oh, and it was a great kick and a great effort from Tommy Makinson. Credit for Satu, just getting in the picture, putting him under some pressure. The slight fumble from Tommy Makinson. Leeds are doing their best to give St Helens this game, aren't they? You've had Alfords give them a try. You've had Sangare give them an opportunity.
Yeah,
and I said this.
Wilco, they're not the best team in the land, in the world.
They're
clinging on I agree.
I'm not harsh.
I agree mistakes are allowing Saints into this game.
But you can't give them 12 points. If they'd have scored there, that's 12 points they've been given in the game. It's a 6-point game at the minute. That ultimately may have been the difference between these two sides. Leeds aren't out of this, but they can't keep giving St Helens opportunities, especially when they're down to 12 men. They conceded a try when St Helens were down to 12 before. They nearly conceded a try there. Leeds, if they want it, can have this.
Busy night tonight. Catalan have already won. Huddersfield have beaten Wakefield. So Trinity's miserable start to the season continues. And massive game going on at Hull KR.
Wow.
They are just ahead of the Lee Leopards, 25-24, the latest score there. Here is Sam Walters, and then the ball reaches Aiden Caesar. 4 tackles gone.
Walters has been great since he's come onto the field, Bill. Tall, rangy guy, gets the ball out, looks like he can offload and break tackles for this Leeds team.
Austin, Wellesby safe underneath that one. McDonnell there to make the tackle for Leeds. Now then, Leeds have got to try and force the error. Here is John Bennison.
Great line speed from Jared O'Connor, wasn't it? He's really pushing things, taking this Leeds line off, and this is where they need to be aggressive. Restrict St Helens meters, and we want Richie Myler, if you're a Leeds fan, catching the ball on the full.
James McDonnell having a good debut, making that tackle on Mark Percival. Here is Matautia now, that head strapping on since the early collision in the game. Well, just about on. Here is Wellesby, that now familiar stooped running style of his. That's the 5th tackle. They're up to the 40-metre line, and Dodd picks his spot. It's into the arms of Richie Myler. Oh, Fusitua slipping.
Well, they're trying to get to Conrad Hurrell, aren't they? It was a good defensive set. Prior to Jack Wellesby getting involved in that last set, they'd only made 40 metres advancing down the field.
And it was just
He's been quiet.
It was just,
Wellesby,
he has been
it?
quiet. He has been really quiet.
Jake, don't go early. Go to play on.
So they're close to coming back. LMS. Curtis Sirenen. LMS alongside him. Here's Nenny McDonald eventually playing the ball. Here is Hanley now.
The thing Leeds, I think they need to do is offer some shape. If you're short as a defensive team, offer some shape, stretch this St Helens defence out.
Martin, quick hands, and Fusitua kicks ahead and out of play.
Terrible kick. Terrible kick. He's got 3 metres to the left of him. He's got open field to his right. Admittedly, the positioning of the fullback cuts those options down for him.
And he's a right foot kicker running down the left edge. Like, you know, it's a skilled kick with your right foot running towards the sideline, down a sideline. And Conrad Hurrell said there's no hangover from the World Cup Challenge. Well, he's fatigued.
He looks like that a lot in any game he plays, Conrad Hurrell. He burns up a lot of energy, but what Paul Wellens has been able to do in the last couple of minutes, he's been able to reintroduce Morgan Rolls and Alex Walmsley. And Matty Lees.
Yeah, here is Matty Lees. If Leeds have got any thoughts of maybe trying to snatch this game, then the heavy artillery of the Saints front row might just put those thoughts to bed.
Sorry, Bill, anybody watched that game last week with Casper Tigers would have seen Alex Walmsley come back onto the field in his second stint, score 2 crucial tries.
When defences are tired, Alex Walmsley is lethal. He's lethal at the best of times, but when you feel like you've got blood in your lungs, you're breathing heavy, sweat's running down your face, he's the last person you want to be running at you.
Knowles playing the ball. Dodd. Delicate kick. The ball is dropped and it's picked up by Myler.
I think Percival touched that while the ball was in the air.
Discipline here, boys.
It was Darrell Olferts, I think, who went up for it, and it was pushed out of his grasp.
With a touch judge.
But nearly every kick that Saints put in, there's pressure around it, isn't there? There's a genuine contest for who's going to get hold of it.
And again, Leeds have got a job, haven't they? They've got 90 metres to go to score points. St Helens very nearly with the Curtis Sirenen back on the field. That's one way to get him unlocked.
And the ball is collected by Hanley. Siranen got there to make the tackle before he could make any yards, but that was good work from Caesar, imaginative work. Here is Sam Walters.
Third, move off the arm, Matty!
Lees with the tackle. Jared O'Connor, Blake Austin. Myler now, Myler for Hanley. Hanley trying his darndest.
The ball's
been stolen and Leeds will get the penalty.
Yeah, Johnny Lomax stole it. You know, Hanley came back to the inside of the line, with, as he usually does, left foot step. Lomax covering hard. It's a calculated risk from Lomax. He chooses to steal that ball without doubt. But the result here is Leeds.
I don't like using the word hangover. I know we had a discussion in the debate before the game. They've spent a lot of energy. Yeah. If Leeds score here again, and the two sides are locked up, it could be St Helens going into extra time for the second time in 3 weeks.
Here is Justin Sangare, 24-18 here. What a game at Hull KR. Josh Charnley with a try in the last play of the game has won that one for the Leopards.
What a result for Lee, Bill. Massive, massive last-minute win for Lee.
Now then, can Leeds snatch something here? Big opportunity for them. Saints back to a full complement. And Leeds within 20 metres of their line. Here is Caesar. Caesar's pass. It's Nene McDonald who manages to get the ball away to Darrell Alfords. Alfords steps past the first. Darrell Alfords comes back across the field, one-handed. Walters, back it goes. It's picked up by O'Connor. O'Connor to Myler. Myler looking for Martin. Martin skipping back in field. Reece Martin. Martin has got the ball down. Martin celebrates his second of the night. No hesitation from the referee. And Leeds again cut loose. The ball was kept alive, and in the end, Reece Martin somehow managed to find a way over the line to get his second of the night, his second of the season, kick to come to level the scores.
Grit and determination all over this try. Yes, there's good hands. Yes, there's players riding tries and chancing their arm with offloads. At this point here, with the scramble defence of St Helens, he's urging somebody onto it. But delicately and skillfully, he rides the tackle, presents the ball one-handed. And at this point here, Richie Myler wants somebody short. And it's all about determination. What a try, what a game we've got here now.
St Helens had way too many opportunities to stop that as well, but Leeds are playing hot. They've looked great when they're playing hot. Martin Wellsby had a stab, Walmsley's had a stab, and then ultimately no St Helens player could stop Reece Martin. But when Leeds have played hot, when they've moved the ball, when they've found offloads, they've really threatened this structured and aggressive St Helens defence. And how big was Tommy Makinson's missed goal? And what's happened after that? How big was that missed penalty attempt? Could be huge. We spoke about how big Mark Sneed's miss was last night. Wonder what's going on in his head right now.
Missed try.
Missed try as well, but it's the goal at which everything turned. The yellow card after that. Similar storyline to last night. They're still ahead here. This is a big kick, but if you want anybody to take this, Reece Martin's your man.
Absolutely. 3 from 3 tonight. The record holder for consecutive kicks. A run that recently came to an end, and Martin absolutely faultless from the kicking tee to bring the scores level with under 10 to go. 24 points apiece. Not many people saw this one coming.
Well, Phil Clark did. Reece Martin, big strength. And just that's the result of really moving the ball around. That's the end of 7-8 passes, 2 widths of the field in movement, and just challenging St Helens to come up. Look, there's some telling stats from this game. Look, Gary Ellington will be delighted with his team. One reason being 17 offloads, as opposed to only 9 from St Helens, and 9 runs from dummy half, as opposed to 1 from St Helens. 1 run from dummy half from St Helens. That shows you maybe Leeds, when it's got quick, offloads, and running out of dummy half, have really stressed St Helens out.
So can Leeds...
Move! Sione Alex, wait!
do what they haven't been able to do in the last 5 years, in the last 12 meetings, and that's snatch a victory against this St Helens side. There's the tail of the second half. And Leeds, and the first and second half, I should say, and Leeds have had the better of this second half. And what's Chris Kendall spotted here?
Play the ball, Curtis, on you, mate.
Yeah, it's turnover, Bill. It's turnover.
I thought he'd seen some skullduggery.
There's a handover in possession. I was like you, I was looking at the tail of the tape, the scoring sequence.
Yeah, well, look, Leeds have got back into this game through some gritty play. Obviously, Curtis Surinam being off the field is a huge contributor to that. Well, as I said, Leeds, when they move the ball, when they offload the ball, challenge St Helens. What you can't do is gift St Helens possession. Look, there's 7.5 minutes left, and you just don't want St Helens to have the ball at this part of the field.
Wait, Cam. Hold.
Well, they've already won a game this season. Oh, Lewis Dodd, and it was Lewis Dodd's drop goal that did it, that World Club Challenge, of course, in Golden Point extra time. Are they going to have to go to that, or can they settle this before the end, Saints? Or can Leeds prevent the Saints getting their noses back in front as Walmsley gets to his feet to play the ball? Dodd, Lomax, Matautia dispensed with the bandage on his head. Referee calls held. 5th tackle. Back it comes to Welsby. Welsby, little kick ahead. And Myler is going to have to try and get out of trouble. He won't do that. And Saints are going to get the ball back.
Big kick.
Big chase.
Big kick, big chase.
Yeah, top, wasn't it, from Jack Welsby? We said he's been quiet. Well, how big's that play? How big is that play from Jack Welsby?
Look at the shirts around that ball. They're trying to find that last little bit of energy. As they've said during the week, they're going to get a period of rest here.
Do they go short? That's my question.
Yes.
No. Austin thinks otherwise. Reaches Welsby almost on the halfway line, and then Matty Lees is invited to come charging back.
Sam Walters. Jack, there's nothing wrong with it, mate.
Welsby didn't like
There's nothing wrong with it, Jack.
And it's not his job to pull up Sam Walters.
Well, that's frustration. Sam Walters has put a big shot on it, unless the replay shows me something different. To the naked eye, that was a good, strong challenge from Sam Walters, who's been exceptional here. There's a young fall for Leeds. Matty Lees takes it into the teeth of the carry. It could be a shoulder charge, Barry. It could be it is a shoulder charge, Barry.
There's that rotation.
Hey, Jack Welsby, I apologise.
But he still shouldn't be taking it upon himself.
You can't do that.
Because that could get reversed.
Johnny.
Yeah, it could, but it's not going to.
And it's still chuntering on out there.
Aiden. Lads, we're not going to restart until we get behind that line.
And
David.
Walmsley not impressed with that.
Reece, we're not going to restart until we get behind that line.
22-year-old Sam Walters, who's had a big game since he came on the field, but that was a step too far.
Yeah, be lucky if he's still on the field after this, Bill. From up here, it looked like he wrapped his arm. It was actually Cameron Smith's arm that wraps round him. Look, and Matty Lees is coming at you like that. You've just got to wrap your arms around him. Sam Walters is a big man. He's had a good game here. Well, that's a big error, Barry. A big error there from Sam Walters.
Warren.
And ultimately, it's going to present Saints with a penalty bang in front of the posts, about 25 metres out.
Right.
I felt certain that Saints would look at the 1 point and they might get 2 here, and it might be a heavy price to pay for Leeds.
Charge. I don't think he's enough rotation for it to be a shoulder charge. So that is then all instigated by Jack Welsby running in, trying to take the game into his own hands. So I'm going to penalise him. We're going to go. Johnny!
Well, this could turn rounds in Leeds' favour, listening to that.
Wow.
Right, lads, in our view, that is not a shoulder charge. So the game is all then stopped because Welsby runs in and instigates all that. We're the referees, we're the officials, we control it, not Jack Welsby. It's a penalty.
Well, I think he's got that wrong. I love physicality, the physical side of the game. For me, it's a shoulder charge. I said it could go against him, and it has.
Mate,
Tell you
that's
what,
a shocker.
wait till-
That's not a shoulder charge. What are we talking
He's
about?
got
Look,
that wrong.
I called it from up here that it looked like a fair challenge, so I get it. Having watched that, 3-4 times, you're telling me that's not a shoulder charge? Well, Sam Walters goes off, gets him out of the heat of this confrontation. Paul Wellens and James Roby and Saints will be fuming with that decision. And how big could that decision be in the context of this game?
A wise move from Leeds. And Hanley across the fields and bounces kindly for Blake Austin and the Saints crowd. They thought they'd come here to celebrate tonight, but it's, at the moment, not a mood of celebration, it's a mood of anger, and Donaldson is on the receiving end of some of that. Sione Matautia with the tackle, Cameron Smith, Myler, Reece Martin gets away from the first tackle, doesn't get away from Curtis Siranen in the end. Here is Tetevano. He won't hold back.
Austin drop goal.
Austin is poised on the 40-metre
out the
line.
back.
On the last, it's back to Austin. Austin has got the boot, but he hasn't got the distance, and it's picked up by Lewis Dodd, and Saints have time now.
Yeah, it's huge effort from St Helens to get off the line and put Blake Austin under some serious pressure. We're on here. We are on here.
And Austin shot out of the line there to make the tackle on Matautia.
He's still chirping at the referee. If he's not careful, Chris Kendall will blow his whistle. But when you see your best ball players interested and aggressive in defence, you know it's a high-quality game.
4 tackles gone this set as Lomax reaches Percival with the pass, but Percival's grabbed by Nenny McDonald and Caesar, and they're back on the halfway line. From the halfway line, the high kick from Dodd. Pressure on Myler. Myler is equal to the challenge. Here is Fusitua now.
Tense, tight.
Absolutely.
I can hear a household in Cheshire, somewhere in Cheshire, saying, never write off the Saints. It's embedded in the culture here, in the DNA of everybody in the red V.
Here is
You can't write off Leeds, though, can you, either here?
Not really. Here's Darrell Alforts as Leeds. 2 minutes to go. Can they work a position? Myler gets the ball to Fusitua. Fusitua comes back in field. There's another late challenge on Myler.
Look, Richie Myler's not daft. He's not daft. But look, if he's been hit late, we need to see. There's not an awful lot.
So what you're saying now, Wilco?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, if Conrad Hurrell's hit him in the chin, you know, it's that's something that doesn't get picked up unless you stay down, unfortunately. Within the game of rugby league, if you stay down, that gets scrutinised. Conrad Hurrell, he's just dropped his levels, put a shot on Richie Myler. The question is whether he's hit him in the head. Now we'll see it. Conrad Hurrell's coming in, he's aggressive, he jams, just catches Richie Myler on the chin. And as we said, Richie Myler knows if he stays down, it's going to get looked at. He knows if he stays down.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my word.
Wow.
What an end to this game. Well, it's not over yet, but Conrad Hurrell has been shown the red card.
Contact with the head.
I mean, in contrast to the Walters challenge.
They're having all the bounce of the ball. You said that Leeds are doing the best to hand the game over to Saints. I'm going to say the same thing back to you.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
I think the bloke in the middle and some of the decisions he's made
Conrad
have had
Hurrell
an influence.
is arguing the toss
Conrad,
with the
leave the
referee,
field.
reluctant to leave the field.
It's just a big swing in decisions, isn't it? Sam Walters stays on, shoulder charge. Conrad Hurrell's off for a late challenge. And it's just... It's massive. It's a massive call.
The World Club Champions are on the ropes here, and Leeds not given much chance coming here tonight. They were bit part players in the Saints celebration. Now they've got the opportunity maybe to snatch a famous victory here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. A victory in St Helens for the first time in 5 years. They are within range, coming up to the final 60 seconds. Here is Donaldson.
Caesar's out the back.
Caesar is waiting his opportunity. Cameron Smith looks, but no, they go to Austin. Austin. Still going, Blake Austin. Into the final minute now.
Caesar again.
Jared O'Connor. It's back to Aidan Caesar. Caesar, they're running it again. Myler, Reece Martin. Martin back to Ash Hanley. Hanley, it's back to Caesar now. It's charged down. It's picked up by Reece Martin. Is still on the last. No, he's wiped the tackle count clean. He's wiped the tackle count clean. Myler is scragged to the floor. They are bang in front of those posts. The ball's back with Blake Austin. Austin with the drop goal to win this game for Leeds. Rowan Smith completely keeping his cool. The Saints players on their haunches.
Bill, I said it before the game, this is why you start rugby league. For nights like this, everybody counting you out. There's only a small gathering of fans behind the sticks to our right. But for everybody that follows this club will know that the 2023 season has officially started for Leeds Rhinos.
Snatched from St Helens.
Clutch play.
Never write off the Rhinos, because they've got away with a win here tonight, as that short restart ends up in the hands of Richie Myler. And the Saints supporters still chuntering about decisions that have cost their side this game. And a night of celebration for Saints turns into a night of jubilation for Leeds and their supporters. They have well and truly pooped the party. The Saints players still contesting the decisions made in the closing moments of this game, particularly the shoulder charge. We'll hear more about that for sure. But a reminder